Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton, and today I'm showing you how to use some of the current annual catalogue products to make Christmas cards. So they don't need to be Christmas cards per se, but it is something of a collage today because I'm using 3 different stamp sets to create this card. So I'm using the Oh What Fun Christmas, that's in the seasonal catalogue, and this is the Merry Wishes I'm using there. I'm using Gorgeous Grunge to create the background, and then the main stamp set is the 6-sided sampler, which is just beautiful. I absolutely adore this stamp set, and would use it so much if I didn't have to make cards from other things. So it's a great one to have in your card stash or your rubber stamping stash, because it's just so versatile. There's stamps in there that can be used for men as well as for feminine cards, so it's just brilliant. And I use it for making kids cards and all sorts of things. So fab stamp set. And I've blinged it up by using some Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper, and the colours I've gone with are richer colours. I know the colours this year are Real Red and Old Olive, but for me I do love Cherry Cobbler, and Mossy Meadow I think makes a beautiful colour, and they're rich enough that you can get to 2nd generation stamping, which I will be showing you today. And it's just been very simply matte onto some Mossy Meadow cardstock just to coordinate it and bring everything in, along with some silver cording trim, which is in the retiring bin. And the snowflake elements, which are also in the retiring bin. So you know, if you want to bag yourself some special goodies, and I've got a feeling that this stamp set is in there too, so if you want to bag yourself some goodies, then have a look on my website, the link of which is below today's tutorial. Anyway, let's get on with the card making. So to start off with, as always, you want to make your card base. This is a regular A6 card base, so it's 21 centimeters by 14.8 centimeters, and then you score down the middle of the long side at 10.5 centimeters. Fold so that the ridge is inside the card, and just burnish with your bone folder. And that can be popped aside until the very end of the next process. So the next piece of cardstock is just that the card base is thicker Whisper White cardstock. This piece is regular Whisper White cardstock, and it measures 14 centimeters by 9.7 centimeters. I am working on getting all the imperial measurements for those of you that prefer imperial. I grew up in that odd age where I learnt really neither one or the other and didn't really learn any very well. But working for my dad as a paste-up artist as a young woman, and then latterly working for Customs and Excise in the print office there, the editing department, I did learn to use centimetres in the main, and that's what I default to. But I am working on getting imperial measurements, so all the mats will make sense, but I just need to have a bit of time to get that sorted. Right, so to start off with today's card is to create a bit of a background, and that comes from Gorgeous Grunge, and it's this, I think it's meant to be like tire tread type of stamp, and I'm using that in Mossy Meadow. And with this one you can get to 4th generation stamping, and all that means is 1st generation stamping is the first time you stamp once you've inked up. 2nd generation stamping is if you stamp twice before inking up. third is if you can stamp 3 times before re-inking your stamp, and fourth, etc., fifth, etc. So we should be going to about 4th generation stamping, because this is a nice intense stamp set. So the main one I want going through the centre of the card, that's 1, and we'll go 1 above, 1 below, stagger 1 there, stagger 1 there, and there's your background. So I think that was 5. I think I counted that right anyway. And that gives you different tones of the same colour, which makes your coordination really easy. Now I'm going to stamp over the top of this, and the first one I'm going to stamp with, I just need to remount my stamp actually. So I'm going to go with the tableclothy looking stamp. And that is going to go right in the centre here. See, I haven't mounted my stamp particularly well. There you go, and I can put that one to one side and swap that for this one. This time I will mount it up properly so it's all nice and square. Okie doke. So we finish with soft suede for a moment. Next is Mossy Meadow again, and this time I'm using the sort of Hessian-y type of stamp. And we're going to do 1st and 2nd generation with this. So you can edge the right up so the rubber meets the stamp of the one next to it, and that will help you line everything up. So that's your 1st generation one. And the 2nd generation one I'm going to do over here. And obviously each card you can make slightly differently. So that comes out a lighter tone. Ugh, just stuck my finger in there, my fingernail in the stamp. In the not the stamp, in the ink pad. So I've got a nice green finger now. Next is the lovely floral one. And I'm using Cherry Cobbler. And again, you can just mount it up by putting the rubber against the edge of the adjacent stamps. That's your 1st generation. And then we'll do a 2nd generation one down here. And you can just mix and match all of this up as you choose, really. Okie dokie. So that's that bit. This can now be matte. No, it can't. I need to do the sentiment first. So the sentiment is in soft suede. The full blog post is usually up and available a few hours after the video goes live in my YouTube channel, and that's just a difference in time frame, so I'm usually asleep whilst my videos are uploading. So just pop your sentiment up in one corner. Now in this stamp set there is a stamp where you can put your greetings in there. This one will probably just fit in there, but I just wanted this. I think that's a lovely little sentiment. This can now be matte onto a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock, just using fast fuse. You could use Tombow, you could use tape and tear. It's your choice really. I just like fast fuse because it sticks beautifully, and I like the you don't get odd blobs and you don't get sticky fingers. So I'm matting that down onto Mossy Meadow, which measures 14.4 centimetres by 10.1 centimetres, and the rest is all about the embellishment. Now you've probably seen the technique that I'm going to use now. What I've done is I've trimmed a piece of Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper to just 1 centimetre wide, and then I'm going to create banner ends on here. So if you can see here, you can see that it's got little banner ends, and to get those banner ends, because if I went into the punch in the normal way, like this. So if I just pop that in there, I would end up with a little flag like that. But I want something more than that. So what you do, I don't know if you can see here, so I'll do my best. You're going to guide that glimmer paper. Now this banner punch will take up to 1.5 centimeters wide, so I've done this at 1 centimeter. Get the arrow in the middle and then punch, and there's your first banner end. Turn it around and then feed the other end back through those, between those cutting plates, and then just eyeball this. You just want to roughly know how long you want that banner to be. Round about there, I think. And punch again, and there you have 2 banner ends, and that should fit across the cardstock there. Next is to do the cording trim, and you just want to loosely run this around your fingers about 3 or 4 times and snip. Now I've found that the best way of controlling this is to use a glue dot that you sort of wrap around the cording trim. So just pop a glue dot on there. And because it's wider, what you can do is you sort of wrap it around, so it's a little adhesive patch on there, and then you can from there pop it down, and you sort of want it on the side and pop it down where the glue dot is behind your banner. Now to actually adhere this, what I use are what most people would throw away. So it's these end bits. This is from my Stampin' Dimensionals. You can see I've got some here. And all I do is I snip and snip at the length that I want them. Peel it off. Pop it along. And you don't necessarily need it to go right to the ends, because we want to create those shadows so that it gives it added 3-dimensional effect. That goes down on your card, and then I'm using one of the snowflake elements, and on the back of there I'm just going to pop a dimensional. Peel the backing off. Let's move my glue dots out of the way. And then that can go in around your little banner there, anywhere you like. And for a final bit of bling, I use my piercing tool to lift these. Just pick up a basic rhinestone. You could add more than one. It's entirely up to you. Pop that in the middle of your snowflake element, and then all I've done is use my fast fuse, strip down each side, and then that goes down on my card base. Do make sure that you're mounting your card the right way round and not upside down, because that is a pain when you do that, and I've done it so many times over the years. And there you have your finished card. So I hope you've really enjoyed that today, and I'll see you back tomorrow for another project. Ta-ta for now.